So this video was inspired by the countless videos I've seen of people flying their drone with Apple Vision Pros. Now, a couple of things about the Apple Vision Pro. Number one, it's proprietary to Apple. And number two, it is super expensive. At the time of recording, it is $3,499 for a set of those VR goggles that seem to be overpriced for what they can do. What if there was a way that you can fly your aircraft with a similar product that can screen mirror from your RC to said device, but also be cost effective and not make you look like a douchebag? That's what we're taking a look in today's video. These are the Viture XRs, and we're going to talk about my experience with having used them for real estate and flying drones. Let's get started. Alrighty, so first things first, Viture did not reach out to me. They did not provide me these glasses. I went ahead and purchased them from Amazon. They were $439 on Amazon. Right now, they're offering a $100 off coupon, so I went ahead and applied that, and I was able to save some money on these. How I found out about this brand, I was scrolling through Facebook. I was in one of the real estate groups, and I saw this guy wearing these glasses, and I thought to myself, let me read it, see what he said. And I was just like, how is this working? How does this actually work? And essentially what happens is this connects to any device via USB-C and allows you to screen mirror directly to the glasses themselves. So this is the box that it ships in. Pretty nice little packaging. Straightforward, you're just going to slide it out. I've already opened these, by the way, but I'm just recreating the unboxing process for you. Opening it up, you're going to be greeted with the case that the glasses come in. Underneath, you have some replacement nose pads and anti-clip for like your hair so you don't get your hair in your face. Everything else you need is inside of this hard case here. So you have the glasses themselves, which I'm just going to try these glasses on so you can see exactly how they look. I don't think these look that bad, and if I was out flying with these, somebody would probably just think that these are just a pair of Ray-Bans or something, and they likely wouldn't rob me. Chances are, if you are flying with a pair of Apple Vision Pros, people are going to know one of two things. Number one, you have money. Number two, your credit score is likely above a 600, so your chances of getting robbed are higher than if you're just wearing a pair of Ray-Bans. If you're wearing Ray-Bans, people are like, he could be okay, but his credit score could be floating anywhere between 550 and 700. So they're not going to rob you. Your chances are a lot lower if you're wearing Ray-Bans or something that looks like this. Inside the case, nothing here. You do have a proprietary connector, cleaning cloth, really nice way to stow it. Now, this cable is proprietary. It does connect to your glasses via magnets and some prong connections, so you're going to want to be mindful of this. And you're not going to want to lose this cable, because if you lose this, you will have to order one directly from Viture to be able to reconnect to your glasses. So looking over the glasses themselves, they are obviously a chunky looking glasses from the top, but when you wear them, obviously you couldn't tell that they were smart glasses. You do have harming speakers on the sides. The speakers do sound loud and clear. You do have that port connector, just pointing it out here. I'll bring it up to this other camera here. So you do have a port connector here. This is what's going to allow you the data pass through from your device into the glasses themselves. Up top, we do have some adjustments so you can adjust the focus. And then on the glasses themselves, they have two screens. Now, these screens do have a peak brightness of 4,000 nits. The perceivable brightness, what you can actually see with your own eyes, is about 1,000 nits, and I find that to be pretty true. Now, the resolution of these screens are really excellent. They look truly amazing. Everything's sharp, crisp, and clear. And because of the way that they are angled with the screens, it still allows you, with when they are on, you can still see all of your peripherals, and you can still see things in front of you, but while also maintaining visibility of what you are actually looking at on your screen. So is this aided vision like the Vision Pros? And the answer is no. Because I can still look and see things in front of me with my own eyeballs, this doesn't count for aided vision like the Vision Pros, or even using the goggles to fly your drone, simply because you don't need to use pass-through to see things. You can multitask and see your screen, but you can still also see what's in front of you. Obviously, when the goggles are turned on or the glasses are turned on, you're not going to be able to see too much in front of you unless you tilt down, which is what I do to be able to see my drone, but also maintaining what's happening on the screen. The size of the visibility of the screen is about 15 inches in total, which I think is fantastic. The overall brightness in direct sunlight has been really, really good. These are designed to be powered on with this cable. So what you'll do is you'll connect your cable like so, just like that. It's going to clasp, nice little firm magnet, and it actually holds on there pretty good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our RC, power the RC on, or you should already have it on at that point. Let that boot up. We'll set it off to the side. I'll also go ahead and power on this drone as well so we can have it face back to me so we can do a latency test, because that was one of the questions that a lot of people had about using this is there any perceivable latency? And the best I can tell in using this, I haven't had any sort of perceivable latency, which is important to know. All right, so we'll let that boot up, and let's see, let that boot up. And there's no power button or anything like that. You do have volume buttons on the side, but basically there's no other buttons. I do need to take this ND filter off so we can actually see what's happening. And then let me do this. Let me boost up the ISO so that way we can see here. There we go. Okay, so, and then you know what? For good measure, let me also take it out of Reels. I use this mostly for Reels, so it's not always in a 16:9. So there we go. Now we're in 16:9. There's my hand. I guess let me tilt the gimbal up so that way we can see my face. There we go. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna connect the glasses. All right, glasses are connected. Let me see if I can see inside there. I can see myself. I'm gonna adjust my focus. There we go. And then I'm moving my hands, and obviously you can't tell, but shit. Well, I just disconnected it. So that's one problem. If you take them off, you could disconnect it, but they boot back up fairly quickly. So let me see how fast that boots back up. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. So about 4 seconds it takes to boot back up. You do want to be mindful when you take these off, like how I just took it off. It rubbed my ear. So you're going to want to be careful of that. So let me take these off. It essentially emits about a 1,400 nit or a 4,000 nit brightness experience, but the perceivable nits are 1,000 nits, which I think is pretty incredible. Sort of look like a little pair of Ray-Bans. And then when I disconnect these, boom, I can see what's in front of me. I can still see, and I can look down and tilt. So they don't really affect the vision all that much. I mean, obviously this is not something you're gonna wanna go out, get wet, but they aren't the worst looking glasses. They're not quite as obscure as a set of FPV goggles, and they're not as ridiculous looking as the Apple Vision Pro. So I'm gonna put this drone over here.
Approached edge of altitude zone.
Of course I did. All right, let's power on the display. You also have diopters. So I don't know if you can see it up here, but there's diopters in which you can adjust. Now I can still see everything. Like I can still see traffic. I still have all my peripherals that are, off to the side of me, but yet I'm still maintaining what's happening on the drone. And the best part is, even in direct sunlight, these are gonna work perfectly if you have to have the brightest possible screen. Now, I was really skeptical of these when I first saw them, but buying them for myself, I can definitely say they do work. And yes, there are some nuances when you fly with something like this. Like maybe I want to change settings on the RC on the fly, and it's not as easy as if I'm flying and tapping. So you still have to look at your RC periodically to adjust things on the screen, because obviously you can't do it through here. But being able to see whether or not something's in focus, being able to see whether or not something is overexposed, that to me is the most important aspect and the reason why I did buy these. I may not use them all the time, but the times that I do need them, I know that they are going to work and they will work flawlessly. Now, I have also used these with my laptop. I was recently out with the family, and we had a pool, and I was still editing some videos, and I ended up using these to be able to edit. Now, why did I do that? Well, my Mac Pro monitor is set to web/SDR, standard dynamic range delivery, so the brightness is down very, very low. And I do that so when I'm editing houses, I can actually get the brightness of my interiors to accurately depict what they are. If you have your brightness set to the maximum and you're editing, sometimes you'll notice when you view that same video on another screen, the interior is darker than what it actually is. So that's the reason why I edit with my brightness set to web/SDR delivery, so that way I can make sure that the interiors are correct. So this was cool to be able to use these to still see and make sure that I was adjusting things appropriately. It allowed me to get some work done outside by the pool, and I didn't feel super disconnected from the family. I think a lot of people that have a problem when it comes to flying with FPV goggles, just in general, will find solace in knowing that you have good focus adjustments and you won't get that dizzy, disoriented feeling because you can still see to the left, to the right of you. You don't feel like you're immersified into the goggles or the experience, but you're still having enough of it to where it feels larger than an RC. And to me, that is really where these succeed. Build quality wise, they're mostly made out of plastic, but it's a relatively good pair of glasses. I mean, honestly, no complaints overall. Pretty happy with it. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you want to check these out for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description below. Remember, go fuck yourself. Like I said, I just went out and bought these on my own because I was interested in them enough to check it out. And sometimes I'll do that. Like, I'll see a product, I don't even reach out to the brand, and I buy it. This allows me to have sort of like that creative control, so that way I can give my own opinions. If these sucked, I would have just said, hey, they suck, and they probably would have been returned right back to Amazon. But I'm going to be hanging on to these because I feel like I can really use these. And another nice thing is, because it doesn't disable the screen mirroring, if I wanted to pass these over to an agent and let them watch or let a client watch, I can still have the RC, and then they could just have these, and it acts as a secondary source or a secondary screen where you don't have somebody hovering over your shoulder. And honestly, that is pretty cool. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop it a like or do whatever it is that you want to do. And I will see you in the next video. As always, stay original.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, you know, flexing on me. My attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I went to